Namaste and welcome to Real TV, where today we are talking about Chung Gung Fu. As you can see, I'm wearing a shirt and it looks like there's a cross on it. This is our center point, and so, this is our center line. And on the side of our body, we also have a center line, as you can see by the tape here. And that center line goes all the way down to the floor. Goes through the side of our head, through the front of the head. And so I really want to focus on this concept today of center line, and because this is a real strong foundation of what Wing Chun is all about. We're going to just get into a simple stance. So feet up, the Wing Chun stance, the feet turn in on a 45. You can see on the side, the feet are in on a 45. Knees push in towards one another, but the outsides of the feet, they are pushing out into the ground while the knees push in. So pushing out, knees drawing in. Again, that kind of juxtaposition. Sit bones drop slightly back and down, and the core is engaged. So pelvic pulls a little bit forward, shoulders are dropped back and down. Sifu always talks about having one fist breadth in between your fists when you're bringing your hands back to your center line. The tape's moving right now, but if I brought my fist back, it would go to the center line. And so, this is the beginning of our Sinum Tao. And I like to remind us, so what are we doing here? What is the principle that we're working on in each position? So my shoulders are drawn up, back, and down, and my fists are drawn in. It is really this principle of drawing your shoulders up, back, and down, and really clenching the muscles in between your shoulder blades to give that back strike. But today, we're going to talk about just center line and our chain fist. With the center line principle in Wing Chun, everything is based on triangles. Triangles are the strongest form in the universe. Spheres are made up of an infinite amount of triangles. So our feet are basically on an equilateral triangle. We have the triangle in the side of our body from there to there with the straight line there. And then once we're into our simple stance, we're also making a triangle with our Man Sao, our searching hand, and our Wu Sao. Triangle, triangle, triangle between the two hands that come out. So when we go for our chain fist, they say in Wing Chun that punches come from the heart. So when I was first starting out, the hardest thing for me to do was to really bring my elbow in and train this muscle group to bring my elbow in, and that the elbow is the thing that is driving the punch. So as my punch moves away from my heart, this elbow draws in. And you can see in the shoulder that shoulder really stays stable as it reaches out. And this gives us our strength, having that shoulder girdle engaged, our lats and our shoulder drop back and down. That gives our shoulder something to press back on once we're extending our punch out. So on the side, as we take our fist out, the opposite hand is moving back to this position. So every time the fist goes out, the other one comes back and becomes the Wu Sao. The Man Sao reaching out. Now this is Wu Sao, Man Sao. My Sifu always says, like, pretend that your hand is like a little bird's nest, just to keep that relaxation when you're starting off. It's really important for me to find my foundation and my form first, and really be relaxed about how I'm training. In the initial process, you know, like, I have to work really hard to engage these muscles in my shoulders, to draw them back and draw them down. And so it's a lot of work initially, you know. But at the same time, as much as I'm working hard, as much as possible, I really want to try and bring this essence of relaxation into my practice, you know. So when I'm doing my chain fist, you know, that it's really nice and soft to begin with, you know. And then as I keep working it, you know, I can start working on the speed, but it really should be nice and relaxed and gentle to start off. And this is a really great place to just work on your stance, really feel that, because your power really comes from your legs. You know, when I first started out in martial arts, I was really hyper flexible, and my flexibility left me up here all the time because I didn't know how to use my legs to ground, and all my power in my punches, in my kicks, comes from a stable base. If I'm off balance and I'm trying to punch, I'm not really going to have a good foundation to put my power into my strikes. So again, shoulders drop up, back, and down, making our equilateral triangle with our feet. Sit bones drop back. I guess, yeah, you can kind of see my center line. So as you can see, like, this line would continue going straight down to the back of my heel. And there's your triangle, right? There's your triangle there. Same on the other side, on the other leg. Triangle here. Man Sao, Wu Sao. Shoulders drop back and down. As my fist goes forward, at the same time, same speed, this other fist comes back and replaces the other fist in that heart ready position. So as I strike out, this front hand has to move out of the way to make room for that backhand to come out and make the punch. And as you can see, as the punch goes out, it is the elbow that is driving the punch in. So that elbow moves in towards center line, and that keeps the structural integrity of this punch, because the structural integrity and the speed at which you throw the punch is where all the power comes from. But this has to come from repeated action over and over and over and over and over again to get proper form and to work your speed up. You know, the more I can be relaxed in my strike as I reach it out, you know, I really want to be relaxing my bicep as much as possible. And as that tricep contracts, that you know, it's there's a relaxation in the throw. So again, here we go. One hand comes under to that ready position. Other one reaches straight forward. That other hand kind of comes back and down a little bit to make room for the elbow to come through. One hand goes forward, elbow drawing into that center line. Now they say hitting with the bottom 3 knuckles or the top 2 knuckles. I've heard both, and I encourage practicing because it depends on where you're making the strike. Sometimes it'll be more efficient to hit with the bottom 3, but sometimes it might be more efficient to, at the end of your strike, hit with the top 2, just getting that little extra throw through the movement of the wrist. Now I encourage you to take these principles and work them, test them, see how, find out how it's working for you and your body mechanics. For me, martial arts is really an inquiry, and I really like what Bruce Lee did. Like his foundation was Wing Chun, but he's like, well, how can I add to Wing Chun? How can I take what I understand in these forms and extrapolate from other practices and bring more to this practice and foundation? So I mean, in my practice, I really find it's important to have a foundation to work from. Once we have understood the foundation, then we can add to it and see how other factors can play into, or other attributes can play into this structure or foundation. I think that's all I got to say today. So, centerline, punches coming from the heart. Utilizing relaxation as your base for building speed. Thank you for being here with me today. If you liked what you saw here today, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and don't forget to tell your friends. Namaste.